The first season of Sailor Moon introduces our protagonist, Serina, or Bunny, a 14-year-old girl with a super unique hairstyle, a little clumsy, and dedicated to her studies as Kim Kardashian is to her selfies, not, who cries way too easily. One day the girl meets Luna, a purple or black cat that happens to be a talking animal who claims that Serina is the chosen one, the destined girl, the one who, with the help of a magic brooch, will transform. Without questioning her sanity or sobriety since she's talking to a cat, and most of all, without asking too many questions in what exactly she'll be transformed into, because if it was a hippo, the series would have taken a very different turn, Serina says the magic phrase and she becomes Sailor Moon, a transformation which we will see in every single episode. The cat told Bunny that her mission, as well as protecting the world, is to find the princess of the Kingdom of the Moon without even a shred of identikit. So Sailor Moon's battle begins as the enemies attack the mother of her best friend Molly. What are the odds? In her first performance as warrior Serina, she kinda sucks, but her help arrives promptly with Tuxedo Mask, a masked character whose only role is to appear, throw a rose in a defining moment of the episode, and then leave. When he's not busy being kidnapped. The girl initially uses her tiara, throwing it like a boomerang, crumbling enemies, and then she'll eventually upgrade to using the lunar scepter. Soon, she'll be joined by other warriors, the super smart and diligent Amy, aka Sailor Mercury, who was my favorite character when I was a child, despite in 2 series she was given the most useless power of all, the Mist of Bubbles. Sailor Mars, aka Ray, a priestess with the powers of fire with which Serina fights every episode. Sailor Jupiter, civil name Lita, a masculine and very strong girl with the superpower of lightning, who doesn't forget to fall in love with every male character she encounters. And finally, accompanied by the white cat Artemis, comes Sailor Venus, aka Mina, which in this series looks like a super smart and cool gal, but eventually we'll discover she's sort of a Serina 2.0. At first, it's believed that Sailor Venus is the princess of the moon that the warriors are searching, but suspense, we'll talk about it later. As recurring characters, apart from Molly, we can mention Melvin, a nerd kid who wears hypnotist glasses, and Darian, an older student who never misses a chance to piss off Serina, who, tired of the situation, is comfortable around him like when you sit on a cactus. The man, an undisputed king of the futility in the anime world, is actually Tuxedo Mask, who helps the Sailor Senshi driven by strange dreams that led him to look for the silver crystal and regain his lost memory. And maybe even some adapters, I might add, since for 47 episodes he helped Sailor Moon without ever realizing that her face was the same as Serina. Oh well, it must have been the sailor uniform that confused him. The enemies of Sailor Moon belong to the realm of the Negaverse, an army formed by a random-shaped dude in the background headed by Queen Beryl, a woman with disturbingly long nails that does nothing but sit all day on a throne in a purple room and shake her hands around a crystal ball. Perhaps being a clairvoyant is her part-time job. The purpose of these bad guys is to collect the human energy in order to awaken their master, Queen Metalia. Have you ever tried with a concert of vuvuzelas? In my opinion, this would have worked too. Beryl, the fortune teller, has at her service 4 generals dressed in uniforms of eggplant color, and they will all be exterminated when unproductive. In order, they are Jadeite, Nephlite, Zoisite, and Malachite. After Jadeite, that will be put in a freezer for not collecting enough energy. It will be the turn of Nephlite, a dark and handsome villain with lots of hair, whom Molly falls madly in love with. But since the poor guy is stabbed by some monsters, there will be no love story for the curly-haired girl. Thus, Zoisite enters in action, and he uses a black crystal to find 7 gems, inside of which were locked up 7 evil lords of the Negaverse, stuffed into the bodies of unsuspecting humans. Once you have collected all the evil gems, you can win the silver crystal, a superpower stone that everyone yearns. Unfortunately, when all the 7 crystals are collected, Milord begins his trail of victimhood, being mortally wounded in order to save Serina. After the 2 discover their identity only after too many episodes. The girl begins to cry desperately on his corpse, and from one of her tears pops up the silver crystal, revealing that she is the princess of the moon. Queen Beryl, which has always had a crush on Tuxedo Mask, gets angry at Zoisite for killing him and eliminates him in spite of the unions. In a flashback, we discover that many years ago, Serenity, the princess of the Silver Kingdom, lived on the moon, and she fell in love with Endymion, the prince of the earth. The website for online meeting was just great. But their love was thwarted by the war broken out between the Kingdom of the Moon and Earth, fomented by Queen Metalia. So Selene, mother of Serenity, we understand the blood connection thanks to the same hairstyle, fights against the evil, losing her life, and before expiring, she launches all the inhabitants of the Kingdom of the Moon onto the Earth, stuffed inside Pokeballs, erasing their memories to be reborn as human beings. Only the two cats keep the memory, just to have a narrator for the story. Returning to the present, we discover that Darien is still alive and has been brought into the Negaverse to be brainwashed and become a servant of the evil ones, battling for a few episodes against the Sailor Senshi. After that, also, Malachite is disposed in a trash can. Our warriors dressed in miniskirts decide to face the final boss, teleporting into the lair of the Negaverse, which is the set of Frozen, and our heroes will be decimated like it was a novel by George Martin, leaving Sailor Moon to face alone the final battle. But despite the lack of moral support, she manages to free Darien from his useless hypnotic state, and she encourages a confrontation with the fusion of Beryl and Metalia. Aided by the spirit of her companions, Serina manages to win, but exhausted by the battle, falls into a ravine-pink hole. But in the end, we discover that no one died. They all went back to their everyday lives without memories, waiting to come back for Season 2, of course.